Her bare feet bled against the frost-bitten earth. The Nevada night howled like a pack of starving wolves, its breath sharp enough to slice flesh from bone. Under the glare of a silver moon, a woman stumbled through the icy desert, clutching a frayed shawl around her shoulders. Every exhale was a desperate cloud of white. "I'm freezing, please, let me in," she whispered to the wind, though no one was there, no one but the night and her own fading hope. Her name was Nayeli, a proud Apache woman, but pride meant little against death's cold shadow. She had left her reservation searching for medicine for her young son, Mateo, whose lungs rattled with every breath. But the town she walked from had slammed its doors shut in her face, refusing her because she had no money, no home, no worth to them. Now her strength was slipping away with each step. She saw a distant farmhouse. A single light flickered through the window. She swallowed what little pride she had left and forced her legs forward. The farmhouse belonged to Thomas Reed, a widowed farmer who had lost his joy the night illness claimed his wife. He lived only for routine now: wake up, work the land, go to sleep, repeat. He had sealed his heart the same way he sealed the farm gates each night. He had just settled into his creaking chair when the knocking began. Bang, bang, bang. "Please," the voice was cracked, exhausted. "Let me in, I beg you." Thomas stiffened. He didn't like visitors, especially at night. Especially strangers. Especially people who wanted things he didn't have the energy to give. But the knocking came again, softer, weaker. He hesitated, then opened the door. There she was, shivering violently, lips turning blue. Her dark hair was tangled with snowflakes, her eyes glassy with desperation. "I'll repay you," she promised with trembling conviction. "I'll reward you, somehow. Just let me warm myself. My son, he needs me. If I die he has no one." Her voice cracked, breaking under the weight of truth. Thomas looked beyond her, into the vast emptiness of the land, and saw no lie in her fear. His late wife, Emily, would have scolded him if he turned this woman away. With a reluctant sigh, he stepped aside. "Come in." Nayeli collapsed near the fire, letting heat seep into her frozen bones. Thomas brought her a blanket, the very one Emily had sewn. He tried not to think about that. "What happened to you?" he asked. She explained between breaths: the reservation, her sick son, the long journey, the town's cruelty. Every word was a blade cutting into Thomas's heart. He knew pain, he knew loss, and he knew loneliness. Still, doubts nagged him. "You said something about rewarding me," he muttered, voice low. Nayeli nodded slowly. "The earth listens to those who honor it. My people, we were taught to hear its secrets. If you help me save my boy, I will help you heal what you have lost." Thomas scoffed. "No one can heal what I've lost." She looked up, her eyes fierce now despite her weakness. "Then maybe you have lost more than you realize." She slept by the fire that night, a sleep of survival. And Thomas, he barely slept at all. Memories tortured him: Emily laughing while kneading dough, Emily humming as she painted, Emily's hand going limp in his. By morning, something inside him shifted. "I'll take you," he announced while pulling on his coat. "To your son." Nayeli stared, tears forming, not because she felt safe yet, but because someone finally listened. The journey back to the reservation was brutal. Snow piled against the truck windshield. Wind roared like spirits warning them to turn back. Thomas's fingers numbed against the steering wheel, but he pushed forward, stubborn as the land he farmed. When they arrived, the small wooden house was as cold as the night had been. Inside, a frail little boy struggled to breathe. Mateo's eyes flickered with light when he saw his mother. "Mama." Nayeli rushed to him, pressing warm hands against his cheeks. "I'm here, my love. I'm here." Thomas swallowed hard. Children always made him ache. They needed help, real help, medicine, heat, food. More than Thomas thought he could give. But then, he remembered Emily, her gentle voice, her teachings about compassion, about doing the right thing even when it hurt. "Let me bring him to my farm," Thomas said quietly. "I have heat, I have a bed, we'll find a doctor, we'll keep him alive." Nayeli stared at him like he had just offered her the entire world. "You would do that, for us?" He nodded, because he realized, while his heart was broken, it still beat. Days passed on the farm. Mateo slowly regained strength. Thomas found himself smiling at the child's tiny jokes, his drawings on scrap paper, the way he pointed excitedly whenever he saw a chicken outside. For the first time in years, the house felt alive again. One crisp morning, as the sun spilled over the horizon, Nayeli thanked him. But Thomas shook his head. No, don't thank me yet. She placed her palm over his worn hands, warm, firm, full of an energy he hadn't felt in so long. You miss her, she said softly. You're Emily. His throat tightened. Every second, Nayeli closed her eyes. Then let me keep my promise. She led him to the field behind the barn, where Emily used to plant wildflowers. Nayeli knelt, gathering handfuls of soil, whispering words like prayers, words the wind carried with ancient reverence. Thomas didn't understand, but he felt. And suddenly, he broke. Tears spilled from him without restraint. He sank to the ground, shaking, gripping the earth where Emily once stood laughing. All the grief he buried exploded like a storm. Nayeli embraced him, not to erase his pain, but to honor it. The earth remembers love, she murmured. She is not gone. She is part of everything you touch here. Something inside him finally released. The weight he carried for so long lifted just enough for a new breath to enter. Weeks later, Matteo could run through the house. His laughter echoed down the halls that once knew only silence. Nayeli cooked meals using old family recipes, turning Thomas's kitchen into a home again. One evening, after dinner, Matteo crawled into Thomas's lap without hesitation. You're like a dad, he declared proudly. Thomas froze, stunned by the child's innocence. But his heart, it agreed. After Matteo fell asleep, Nayeli approached Thomas on the porch. You gave us life, she said. And I gave you back your heart. He looked at her, truly looked, seeing not merely a stranger he saved, but a woman who had saved him, too. I think Emily sent you, he whispered. Nayeli smiled gently. Or maybe the earth decided you were ready to feel again. Winter melted into spring. Wildflowers bloomed once more in Emily's garden. And Thomas finally understood the reward she promised him, not money, not thanks, but healing. A family, a future, one that Emily would have wanted for him. Nayeli stood beside him, her hand slipping into his, warm, steady. And for the first time since the world fell apart, Thomas Reed didn't just live. He hoped, he loved, he felt human again. Final inspiring message, help is never a burden when given with compassion. Sometimes the lives we save are the very ones that save us. Love lost can be love found again, if we dare open our doors, and our hearts.